Welcome to the Sound Creator Podcast, where I explore the fascinating world of sound design and sound effects. I'm your host, Cedric Black, and in each episode, I dive deep into the art of creating unique audio experiences. Join me as I share my personal journey in sound design, from crafting realistic sound effects to building captivating soundscapes. On this show, I will dive into this unique art of sound that brings movies, games, and media to life. Welcome to the show. And welcome back once again to another episode of the Sound Creator Podcast. I was trying to seems like I can never get the perfect timing to record the episode because it's always some background noise somewhere. One of my goals and my dreams is for my next house is to have a basement area for my studio that's totally cut off from any threats of outside noise, because it's just, if it's not the birds chirping outside, which is great, I'm not complaining about the birds, but my microphone is pretty sensitive, so it picks it up. So if it's not birds, maybe it's the neighbor's dogs outside. If it's not that, it's most certainly an airplane flying by. And I usually do pretty good by waiting for the airplane to finish doing its business. But this morning, it seemed to be constant. When one flew over, just as I was getting ready to record, another one came, and then another one came. If it wasn't that, then it was the traffic outside. And I have storm windows, but again, I know my room is not treated for sound. There's no isolation or anything in this room because I never intended to have a podcast show. That was never an issue, but now that I do, I'm rethinking some things because I would really prefer that it's super quiet and not have to worry about taking these sounds out in post-production. And because to edit these sounds out, it just requires a lot more work than I'd like to originally put into it. But here we are. It's fine. It seems like it's okay now. It's okay time now, so I better get with it. So I was thinking about something that's not brand new, but I've never thought about talking about it. As a sound designer, it's something that we are always surrounded by. It's just part of our work is the full spectrum of a sound. And when I talk about full spectrum, I'm speaking in frequency. Us musicians or sound designers or whatever you want to call us, we understand frequency. The average person may not. You understand it if we say lows, middle, and high, because we all grew up on equalizers and we adjust sounds for our stereos or our music players, whatever we use. We adjust those sounds based on lows, which is like the bassy area, or the middle area that just makes the sound feel more up close to you, or the high area. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about the full spectrum of a sound. Because when I listen now, I started thinking about this yesterday, just the full spectrum of a sound, because I was at home last night just listening to my AC unit just kick on, turn on, and blow. And what happens is when I focus on the full spectrum of a sound, I listen to it longer because I'm picking out each individual layer or spectrum of that sound. In sound designer terms, frequencies, the low frequencies, the middle frequencies, and the high frequencies. So I mentioned the air conditioner because it is generally stronger in the lower frequencies, but when I listen to it, I'm listening for those three layers. So I'm focusing on those three layers, either together or as it continues to blow. So we can do this with any other sound. And I do this all the time, but I just never think about it. Well, I never think about discussing it, because I listen to sounds, and most of the sounds that you've heard on my Instagram channel, they're a little bit noisy, or they're a little bit higher pitched. So it's easy for me to focus on the three spectrum, the full spectrum of that sound, because you can hear each layer of that sound. If you pay attention, I think a lot of times in several of the episodes, when I shared the sounds, I played the sound twice, just to give you a second chance to hear it a different way after I discuss it. And so that's what I think about with the full spectrum of a sound. I hear it 3 times. Sometimes it takes me longer, or I can focus on it longer. Even in my voice right now, I can focus on the different layers of my voice, the different aspects of my voice. This microphone, it makes a difference if I'm further back away. Like now, I'm a little bit, I moved back a little bit, maybe 1 foot away. But the spectrum is less, and I can hear different spectrums in my voice. But as I move closer to the microphone, I think the more prominent spectrum of my voice is the bassy part, the deeper part, which is interesting to me, because now it tells me that the spectrum of sound is affected, or can be affected by distance. Or is it affected by distance? I know that it is with microphone placement, but how is it affected when we hear it? If we hear a sound that's far away, we tend not to hear so much. If it's, for example, if it's a car driving by with playing a lot of loud music or like heavy bass music, we don't tend to hear the bass as much. We know that it's there, but it's faint, and in the middle part and the higher part seems to totally just disappear. But the closer that car comes, those other parts of the spectrum, the middle part and the higher parts, are more present. And the bass is less present, because even though it's louder, everything else is louder. Now you feel that bassy part a little bit more. You feel it more than you hear it. And that's interesting, because distance does make a difference. Incorporating that into sound design, I think that we create distance with 3 objects. The microphone itself, the object that we're recording, and our ears, where we are. Because most of the time when we record, I use headphones. Headphones allow me to hear more detail. If I'm not hearing detail, I'm hearing everything around the sound, and I could make a mistake about what I really want to capture. It helps me find the sweet spot of the object that I'm recording. But those 3 things, I think, are key. Because the way we hear, because if I hear a sound that's higher pitched and it's close up to me, I want to adjust. It helps me to adjust better. But those 3 spectrums of sound together, it helps me to hear it in a broader picture. I can hear the bigger frame of that sound. This is something that I really want to explore more, or maybe even talk about a little bit more. I know what it is. We all know what it is. We use it every day. We're surrounded by it, but we just never title it. We never apply a title to it. I think it's important to understand the relationship between those 3 things and how it affects sound. Because every sound, well, yeah, to a point, I would still say every sound, even the smallest sounds, like the drop of a toothpick or something, or breaking a toothpick, still has those 3 spectrums of sound: the low, middle, and high. Although the low may be lower, it's still there. Everything has that. I think everything has that sound. Those three spectrums, they're all there. So when we listen to them, maybe we can pick out those things. Sometimes it's easier to pick out, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it takes a little, as with sound design, it takes a little magic to add afterwards to enhance those areas that we want to hear more of, but they're all there. Maybe there's something that we can take away from this episode. If I move back from the microphone like I'm doing now, the bass is a little less, everything is a little less. As I move forward the way I am now, the bass becomes a little bit more bassy and the highs become less. The high part of my voice becomes less. But there are some things that are more present that you can hear in the voice, in the sound. But thanks for showing up this week. Thanks for checking me out. And we'll see you next week on another episode. Thanks for listening. If you found value in what you've heard, I kindly ask you to spread the word about the Sound Creator Podcast. Share it with your friends, colleagues, and anyone who shares your fascination for the power of sound. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your preferred platform so you never miss an episode. You can also stay connected with me through my main website at cedricblack.com or at cedblack on Instagram. Thank you once again for being part of this incredible journey. I look forward to bringing you more captivating episodes in the future. Until next time.